all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 19th of May. The big story this morning is a global surge in equities. Stocks in the US have risen the most in almost 6 weeks after promising early results for an experimental vaccine sparked speculation that economies could rebound quickly. Crude oil has risen to levels not seen since COVID-19 lockdowns brought global economies to a virtual halt. The results of the vaccine trial by Moderna are just a sample, remember, of the small first study designed to look at its safety in human volunteers and should be viewed with caution. But they showed no major safety worries, which is a key first hurdle since a vaccine would be given to millions of otherwise healthy people. The vaccine trials are being conducted in stages, and only in later stages of testing will the vaccine go up against the virus in the real world in a definitive test of whether it prevents or lessens infections. As things stand, the higher stages of testing with thousands of patients are scheduled to start in July. Meanwhile, President Xi Jinping has said that China would make any coronavirus vaccine universally available once it is developed. Xi was addressing the World Health Organization a day after a senior US official suggested that Beijing sent airline passengers to spread the coronavirus worldwide. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's comments also helped to bolster the risk-on sentiment. While Powell said that the US economy's recovery could stretch to the end of 2021, he added that policymakers are not out of ammunition by a long shot. Elsewhere, industrial metals climbed after China announced guidelines to revive large infrastructure projects. Meanwhile, here in India, there is talk that there could be a decoupling of markets from global peers. The infection rate showed no signs of slowing, with India adding 5,242 new cases as of yesterday morning, taking the total to over 96,000. This morning is quite likely that the total number of cases will have crossed a lakh. What's worse is that there are more voices in the research community that are saying that the government's 20 lakh crore package won't ease the pain for the Indian economy. In a strategy note, global research firm AB Bernstein said, and I quote, "While the package started on important aspects, the need to announce measures that add up to this top-down number made the entire package aimless, with several generic announcements which should ideally have been part of a normal economic agenda also being introduced." End quote. Goldman Sachs, meanwhile, expects India will experience its deepest recession ever, with gross domestic product likely to contract by an annualized 45% in the second quarter from the prior 3 months, compared with Goldman's previous forecast of a 20% slump. Those estimates imply that real GDP will fall by 5% in the 2021 financial year. In other news, the Ministry of Home Affairs' recent notification suggests that the government's direction to private sector on wages stands withdrawn. Remember, on the 29th of March, the government had mandated that employers, including shops and commercial establishments, would have to pay wages to their employees without any deduction during the period of the lockdown. As I hand it over to Agam for the trade setup for the day in India, I'm looking at the early rises in the equity markets in the Asia-Pacific region, and all three are sitting with gains of nearly 2%. Now it's over to Agam Vakil, like I said, for the trade setup for the day here in India. Good morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. Well, we're up for some recovery based on what we're seeing in the SGX Nifty futures, which is trading higher by 200 points, which means we're most certainly likely to see some amount of recovery after the significant weakness that we saw yesterday. Moving in, last in, first out. Late at night, we had earnings from Bharti Airtel. It's been a strong quarter. Revenues rose 8% year on year, the highest growth in 30 quarters. An average revenue per user stood at 154 rupees, the highest in 12 quarters. Operating margins stood steady at 43%, though the firm did post a net loss of 5,200 crores, largely owing to an exceptional loss worth 7,000 crores recognized. Moving on, we have earnings from Dr. Lal Path Labs, where revenues have remained flat year on year. Net profit declined 40%, and margins have also come off to 19% against 21.9% from the year gone by. Delta Corp is the other one on expected lines because of the COVID-related outbreak challenges. We have revenues which declined 11% and net profit declined 49%. Margins now standing at 26% against 43%. Today, we keep an eye on Bajaj Finance from the NBFC space in earnings, and that's going to be a big one too. Moving on, we have Tata Consumer Products, which has said that it will acquire 50% of the PepsiCo's share in Nourishco Beverages. Nourishco is a 50-50 joint venture between the company and PepsiCo India Holdings, and this will consequently terminate the joint venture, making Nourishco a wholly owned subsidiary of Tata Consumer Products. Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail will raise 400 crores by issuance of 4,000 redeemable unsecured non-convertible debentures of 10 lakh rupees each on a private placement basis on or after the 21st of May. Indiabulls Housing Finance has redeemed NCDs worth 1,500 crores. And in key bulk deals, we have Healthcare Global, where Buena Vista Fund has bought 2.2% equity at 94.8 rupees per share, and First State Investment sells 1.2% equity at 93.4 rupees per share. And First State Investment sells 1.2% equity at 93.4 rupees per share. Now, these are just some of the stocks you can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to this show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.